Hi guys, welcome in. I'm Sarah. I am an attachment style specialist, mindset mastery coach, and transformational hypnotherapist. And I'm coming to you on this absolutely beautiful day. I want to just do a short video talking about what secure attachment looks like. I spent a lot of time on this channel talking about insecure attachment styles like avoidant or anxious, but I really want to tune into what does that secure attachment look like? I think this can be so helpful for all of us as we're navigating our healing process. And if you're new to the channel, welcome in, have a look around, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you're seeking a personal session, you can reach out to me. There's a link below in the description box for a free 20-minute discovery call with me, and we can decide if we want to work together. So let's just dive right in. So secure attachment, what does that look like? And it can be, this can be a process for my anxious lovers out there and my avoidant lovers out there. What is this going to look like, and how would this come together? So it's kind of be a different journey for all of us, especially depending on our childhood, what we experience, and then also what we've experienced inside of our romantic relationships. So secure attachment has a strong and solid internal sense of self. And I want to spend a minute talking about that. Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, if you think about anxious, let's relate it to the insecure attachment styles. So anxious doesn't have a secure sense of self. They're seeking externally. They're seeking to be validated externally usually by people. There's a sense of codependence there. And it's interesting because my anxious people will actually attract or be attracted to rather more avoidant style or avoidant partners, but in reality, they're actually emotionally unavailable themselves. So it's fascinating to really dive deeper into the science of attachment. And then of course, my avoidants tend to auto-regulate. So anxious really want to co-regulate inside of a relationship. They want to be around you all the time. They want to work things out no matter what the cost is, even to their own sense of self. And my avoidants are like, let me go over here. They have a strong sense of self in the, how do I phrase this? They have a strong sense of self in the sense that they know who they are without a partner, but I just don't think they understand who they are inside of a relationship. That's where they tend to get lost. That's where their nervous system gets activated, their attachment system comes online very strong. And when that happens, it's sort of like a point of no return for a lot of these avoidants. In fact, I want to share something. I just met in person a friend that I've known for like 10 years on Facebook. We reconnected and we finally met in person today. And he's going through a breakup, and he was telling me what was going on. And he said, don't you study attachment styles? Aren't you a therapist? I said, well, I'm actually a hypnotherapist. I said, but what it sounds like is this person deactivated. And she started getting the ick and finding little things, wrong about what he was doing, when in fact, he wasn't really doing anything wrong. He was a pretty good partner, and he was very communicative and very tailoring to her needs. And I said, it really sounds like she deactivated, and then that of course led to a breakup. And it was so fascinating just to kind of watch him take in my words and get an understanding of what happened, because he actually used the words, I felt discarded and blindsided. And I said, oh, you were definitely dealing with an avoidant. And we went into it, and that's what it looks like. So secure attachment, they don't expect their needs to be dismissed or neglected. They believe that people are inherently good. They believe that people are going to be able to meet their needs, right? So it's sort of like we can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we expect people not to be able to meet our needs, then they probably won't be able to meet our needs. But if we expect that they will, then chances are that they will be able to meet our needs. So it's very fascinating. What we put out there is sort of what we're receiving back in life, and not just in relationships. But I'm sure you guys can apply this. Let me know in the comments below. You can apply this to really all aspects of life and how this might be playing out for you. What else does secure look like? They're able to stay really solid and grounded. So they're not going to dissociate when things get tough. They're going to actually really stay in the relationship. They're going to stay in relationship. And they're going to stay in the here and the now when things get tough, when the going gets tough. And the going will get tough when things get real. A lot of times when money comes up, or maybe it's housing or relocation or kids or any number of things, or there's, the death of a parent, or things happen, or things just get challenging inside of the relationship, my secure attachers are really going to be able to handle that with grace and compassion, but without losing themselves in the process. So they're going to be able to cater to their partner's needs and also cater to their own needs. And this is a very important distinction between secure and insecure attachment. They can feel and deal. So if you've watched my video, I think it was yesterday, or a couple days ago, I talked about how insecure attachments, like for anxious, they can feel, but they're not so good with dealing. Whereas avoidants can't feel really good, like they don't really have that sense of depth of emotional kind of feeling, but they can deal really well. That's why you find your avoidants, workaholics, really good with money, really good with the sort of logical aspects of life. And then you find your anxious attachers really good with their feelings. They're really in tune with their feelings. I could say more on that because they're actually kind of, there's some issues going on there with their feelings. And then my fearful avoidance, of course, you guys are really in tune with your feelings and you're actually the deepest feelers of all the insecure attachment styles. But again, I have videos on all this throughout my channel. So when things get difficult, Secure says, I can stay in my relational brain. So I'm just gonna get into just a little bit of science here. This should be really simple. So I can stay in my relational brain, which is that prefrontal cortex. I can stay there and I'm not gonna dissociate. I'm not gonna need to, stonewall. I'm not gonna need to yell or scream to get my point across because I'm staying in that prefrontal cortex, that relational brain where I'm in relationship. And I get curious versus threatened. That's the subcortical region. So I get curious, but not threatened. And I just find this so incredibly fascinating. So these are just some basic aspects of secure attachment. But I want you to kind of take a moment and think about how this maybe has played out in your relationships and in your life, and areas for improvement also to become more secure. Because the good news is that even if you identify as an insecure attacher, you can work to become more secure. And in fact, I'm not going to say it's not as difficult as it sounds or looks. It can be difficult depending on the process and also depending on how much resistance your attachment style may sort of bring up for you. Avoidants tend to avoid. They tend to sort of detract, they'll sort of like step away from the situation, where my anxious people want to go towards and they want to chase and they want to beg for attention, or they want to beg for reconciliation. And my secure attachers are standing somewhere in the middle. So let's just look at this for a minute. How would this play out in the event of a breakup or a divorce? Well, the secure attacher would feel sad. They would feel those pangs of, even remorse or regret or sadness or even anger, but they're not going to attack. They're not going to deny that it's happening. They're going to actually be able to walk through that grieving process really in a really healthy way, while really being there for themselves. And also, not being unkind to their partner. They're going to be able to hear their partner out. They're going to be able to accept that it's over. And this is what I find with my insecure attachers. It's very hard to accept when a relationship is over, to accept when your partner has decided that things need to end. It can be very challenging for my insecure attachment styles to really get a grip on what's happening. You tend to cling. You tend to want to not accept reality, not accept that it's over. And I find a lot of my insecure attacher clients tend to say like, well, they're going to come back, or do you think they'll come back, or what can I do, or I should have done things differently. Kind of replaying and ruminating, a lot of rumination with your thoughts. And secure attachers may do that for a brief period of time, but again, they're going to ultimately accept what happened. They're going to respect their partner's decision, and they're going to be able to move forward. And they're going to have this feeling of hope, like, I will find a partner that's better for me. And, hopefully, I'll be able to move on from this. I'll be able to actually feel that I'm whole and feel that I'm safe and secure. It's that feeling, that sense of self, and that feeling of wholeness that secure attachers do very well. That bodes very well for them in the event of a breakup, in the event of a separation or a divorce. So I'm going to keep this video really short for you guys. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much.